All right, we got all the mics set up. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Feeling frisky.
Like it. Interesting day today.
Oh yeah, always.
You don't talk during the intro music.
Didn't know it was the intro.
It's okay.
Have you not
We're
listened
changing.
to the podcast?
It's only the third episode. You can do whatever you
No,
want.
it's the 4th episode.
4th episode. All right, here we are. Episode 4. Real Men of Genius. Got myself. Got Matt here. We got
Howdy.
our boy Jake. Ready to jump right in. Ran at Texas last week. Had a pretty solid week in the number 15 Fort Worth screen printing Chevrolet. Run P17. We were the biggest mover at one point. All in all, good day. Ready
It's
to
not
get to
hard when you
Kansas.
start 39th.
Yeah.
True.
That's the only good thing about starting back there. You can pretty much guarantee you're on the biggest mover graphic. So.
Shout out John Garrett.
Yep.
Fort Worth.
Oh yeah.
Fort
He's
Worth
right there.
Good people.
Oh
Great
yeah.
people.
Very good people.
Even through the Chevrolet hat on the table today, even though I'm not really supported by Chevrolet, but I'd love to. If y'all ever see this,
Could be.
Mr. Shane, if you want to hook it up in the Xfinity Series, you just let me know.
Love the bow tie.
Yep. What y'all been up to? How was y'all's Texas?
I had a wonderful experience in Texas. I got a phone call on Wednesday that the semi-retired pit crew guy was coming out of retirement yet again.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got told I didn't get asked to pit a race car. I was told I was pitting a race car. So I got it. It was chaos in the streets because he's like, "Don't worry, I already got you a flight. Like, don't worry about it." I'm like, "Well, I already had a flight set up. So what are we doing?" So I show up. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll just take care of it." So I showed up to. There's 2 charter companies. I showed up to the one that I usually fly on, and they looked at me like I had 3 eyes on my head, and they're like, "No, get out of here. We don't want you." The other one is a quarter mile, probably half a mile down the road. When I walked in down there, and
You walked all the way from
I
Champion to
walked
Victory?
because I was flying back on Champion, so I'm not gonna
Yeah,
park
that's
my
true.
car down at Victory.
It's true.
Get home at 2 and have to walk all the way over there.
Right, it takes me till 2:30 to get to my car. So I walked down there, and I was told the flight was at 4:30. So I stroll in probably about 3:35, thinking it's 4:30 flight, and they're like, "You better get on the plane. It's leaving at 4."
That's
You
the
do not
best
want
part.
to be the last guy on the plane.
See, I'm against that. I mean, you're flying a charter plane. I don't know why they're getting there like they're flying commercial. That's my thing. I remember the first time, or maybe not the first time. The first time I actually was like an hour early, but the second time I was like, all I got to do is just show up and get on this plane. I got there like maybe
Yeah, but
20 minutes before it took off.
You don't ever want to be that guy.
People were not
Exactly.
stoked on me.
I got a story about that. So this year at Dover, I what's the word I'm looking for? Ignorantly parked on the infield at Dover, thinking, they'll open the gate just straight right out,
Yep.
straight to the airport. They held us in the infield after the race for a solid hour and a half. So we were the marketing people. Were the last 2 people to the plane.
yeah.
We should have been the first 2 people to the plane. The chirps and the disgusted looks on
Oh
people's
yeah, you get
faces
some dirty looks on those planes when you do
were
that.
quite possibly the greatest I've ever seen. The chirping was 100%.
Yeah, racers
People
got good
are
insults.
Pissed.
Well,
People
it's
are.
worse to be late to the one leaving the track than going to the track.
Correct.
This is
'Cause
true.
everybody's tired and they're angry
Oh yeah.
half the time. So
It was. That was the most disgusting.
That's
I've ever
one
felt.
hard lesson you learn in NASCAR. Sometimes the best parking to get into the racetrack is the worst parking leaving the racetrack. Actually, the umbrella man, Steve, he told me that he used to park, that museum down the road from Charlotte?
Really.
He'd park all the way down there just so he didn't have to deal with traffic leaving the racetrack.
That's a solid 2 miles.
Dude, imagine
away
just
from the
Steve
track.
just trekking down there.
If it was raining, he'd have 6 umbrellas.
No, yeah, it's true. As long
just
as
a
he brought his
bubble of umbrellas.
He probably wouldn't, though. Imagine, because he says he keeps the umbrella in his truck. Let's say he gets to the racetrack not raining. But it's Charlotte, so he'll probably take his rain gear with him. He can
Yeah,
always put it back in the hauler.
Just be safe.
Just because.
Speaking of which, I totally forgot to put my gear in the hauler, so I'm going to be flying with that, which I'm not happy about. Whatever.
Have helmet will fly.
Spit happens.
Yeah, have helmet, will travel.
That is true.
Your
I'll be
hashtag's
taking it
actually
with
gonna be
me.
a thing. Are you flying commercial?
I don't know. I haven't really asked yet, but usually they fly champion.
Just walk around with your helmet on the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a mask.
Yeah. I mean,
This is true. Oh, I forgot to tell this. Oh, no, this was going to Texas. I think I actually did write this down. There was a lady at the airport, and she is like hysterical. Did I tell this story last week?
No.
About the lady trying to get on the plane with no boarding pass?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah, I mean, she was there. Like, I'm walking in the security line, and she's, like, yelling at this dude because you got to have a boarding pass to get into security. And she's like, I don't have one. What do you want me to do? I have a flight in 45 minutes. What do you want me to do? And he's like, go and get your boarding pass and then come back. He's like, I can't. I don't have time. And, like, I almost wanted to stop and be like, you cannot get on the plane if you don't have a boarding pass. So even if you got there in 5 minutes, got there 40 minutes early, you're not going to get on the plane. Then you're going to have to come back, go through it all again, and you're just going to waste more time. And then she was freaking out, cutting the line once she did go get her boarding pass. Like, I think it might have been her first time flying, which sometimes I feel bad for those people, and sometimes I don't. This was one of those cases in which I
never
didn't.
feel bad for first flyers. Ever.
Yeah, they just pissed me
Sometimes.
off.
Old hockey trick. Get you a TSA pre-check. 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Wow.
5 minutes.
Game
through
changer.
most TSAs.
I know. I always see that when I'm, like, walking by. I'm like, man, I should probably get that done. I never do.
You don't have to take your shoes off.
Wow.
You literally
That's
just
worth
And,
it
and
right
they
there.
usually, like, Charlotte, they have that one checkpoint that is just TSA pre-check.
Yeah. Like, you literally just throw all your shit on the conveyor belt. You got to take your belt off. That's the only thing you got to do. Just take your belt off. Otherwise, they look at you like, you know, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But
One cool thing about charter flights, you just show up and walk on the
It is
plane.
the best thing in the world.
Best
like-
way to fly.
For those who have never been on a charter flight, so those who are not in the NASCAR industry and still listen to this podcast, it is the nicest thing in the world. You get there whenever you want. You can really get there like 2 minutes before it takes off. You will get bad looks. People will be mad at you, but you can still just get on the plane. You show them your ID, get on the plane, sit down. You don't even have to buckle your seatbelt for all that.
no.
There's no food being passed out, but you can bring your own, which is another plus. 44-ounce fountain drink from QT, doesn't matter.
Not a lot of readers on these planes either. So
There's
the
one.
lights are
Hey,
always
there's
up.
one.
I know. I
Been
had to
into
sit
reading
next to
lately.
him. Had to sit next to him.
I'll tell you what, there's no better way to go to sleep than trying to read on an airplane after you've been at the racetrack all day.
Or, you know what's the most annoying thing is when this person reads his fucking book out loud.
No,
You should know the information. It's a good book.
Hillman with his iPad with the letters. That
Oh,
are like
yeah, Hillman
2
does
inches.
read. I walked back from the bathroom. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that to
Yeah,
you when I
It's
sat
got
back
like
down.
6 words on the whole iPad.
Yeah, dude, he's just swiping through pages so fast because there's only a handful of lines.
And you know he's got that thing as far away from his face as
Yeah.
possible so he
He's
can
still
read
doing
it.
the thing.
Oh,
where
yeah, reading this
back.
book here. Yeah, it's a good book.
Monday.
I love Hillman.
I do too. He's the GOAT. He is the best. Dirt Car Hall of Fame, Busch Series champion. The accolades just keep going up.
Former owner of one of the sickest mustaches in NASCAR.
That's true.
We have
They
those
used to always
throwback
fight.
pictures of him.
That was
Those
so
are
cool.
Those are good.
I watched a fight at New Hampshire. It was like their entire race team versus David Starr in the Truck Series. It was awesome. And you could see Hillman in the back, like senior. And he's like, just screaming at him. It was so good.
So I still do. I do some of the fan mail at where I work, undisclosed location, and a fan wanted to sent in some like the old school trading cards
I did see those.
with Hillman's picture on them.
Really?
I'm like,
Looks nothing like
who is this guy? Because it's from like 1984. I looked at him. I'm like, I don't know who this is. So I kind of just tossed him off to the side.
So if you're that fan,
So
we
if you're
have the
that
card.
fan and you're watching this, I'm sorry, but
Wow.
I don't know where they
Real
went.
good, Matt. I have a trading card of old TP, Todd Parrott, signed. Rides around on my truck with me to keep me safe.
Old TP. What a character.
Oh man,
We could designate 6 episodes.
He's a legend.
He
He's
is.
a legend.
he's actually supposed to come out to some late model races this year. So.
Let's go.
Is he going to crew chief for you?
You
No,
gonna
I don't know
crew
about crew chief. He's going to help us out, but
So
you
Jake,
can't have too many legends around.
Jake, why don't you introduce yourself? We've gone 10 minutes.
Glossed
without-
right over?
Yeah, we kind of
There we go. Jacob Courage, originally from Sacramento area out in California.
Barstow.
Not Barstow.
Not
The one
going back to
time Matt went to
Barstow.
California, we went to Barstow, and now he says I'm from Barstow every time. But no, Sacramento raced family race.
Look
Dad.
into the camera.
Oh, sorry. I've never done this
You
before.
don't have to.
I like speaking off into the abyss, but no. Family's always been in racing. I've always worked on them and tried to do whatever I can outside of whatever I was doing. I kind of played a little bit of college basketball, stuff like that. So it's interesting for a driver walking around. First couple times, they were like, "Hey, dude, the basketball court's down the road."
Oh yeah, he's tall.
So,
Did you just sniff your microphone?
No, I was adjusting it.
yeah, so not too many 6'8" race car drivers. So that makes it interesting, fitting seats and stuff like that.
I'd imagine.
But no, it should be cool. It got a little money together to go late model racing this year, and we'll see how it goes.
Let's go. And the Cars Tour, right? Cars Tour Pro Late deal?
Yeah, the new season. The Cars Tour is professional. I mean, we went there last
Are you saying
2 weeks ago.
you're not a professional?
Well, just coming from West Coast is a little different in racing. It's not. It's definitely not North Carolina. But coming out here, we ran the throwback race like 3 years ago, and we actually flew out from California, and it was a good time. A lot of cars. I mean, out west, you get a good car count, maybe 15, 20 cars. Out here, it's like, well, for them, it was 30, 40 cars. And
Wow.
so, no, it'll be fun. It's first season of the Pro Late in the Cars Tour. So they got done with their Super. We actually took a Pro to the Super race last weekend in South Boston, and it was fun, kind of just a shakedown for the car and stuff.
Yeah.
My older brother, JR Courage, he ran it. He hasn't been in the car for 3 or 4 years, so it was cool seeing him getting in, barely fit in the fire suit.
Yeah, I'm pumped on the new Pro Late series they got coming out with Cars Tour. It's about damn time they brought a real, true Pro Late model series, like talking about 5 flag Speedway rules.
Yep.
Like what everybody in this like down south runs, like further south than here, and true Pro Late, so all those guys can get involved. There's a bunch of kids that go down there and race. They grow up racing around here, Legends cars and whatnot. Then they go and race Pro Late, Super Lates down there. So it's good that they're bringing it more local. I think you'll see a lot of cars showing up.
Yeah, a lot of guys are already talking about it. They have their pros ready because they got done with the Supers, and a lot of them just transfer it over and put a crate motor in it and send it.
So
yeah, that's the best deal about those.
For the listeners at home, is that the only difference really between a Pro and a Super?
There's a couple different things. I mean,
motor mainly.
Yeah, motor mainly, but
Modifieds mainly.
And there's like small rules, like you can't have titanium axles in a Pro, or you can in the Super. Some series, I don't know, the rules are different, but
yep. Biggest thing's crate motor.
Yeah.
So you pretty much buy. I mean, a lot of guys go through their stuff, but you can buy crate motor from Chevrolet. That's what we run. A 604, 602 is the smaller motor, but I think it's got steel heads and everything. But they're great motors. I mean, we beat up on one of our motors in our Pro Late for 2 years. I mean, refresh here and there, but it's good to go. The price difference is insane compared to the Super Series and everything. I mean, you have to have. I mean, you could almost run ARCA for the price you're running a Super now. So it's good in that aspect. You can actually go out and be competitive and not have to sell a kidney or anything. So
yeah. I ran pros for a long time down around Texas and Alabama, Florida and stuff, and it's a great series. I mean, I'd put a motor in a car, have it refresh at the end of the year, and put it back in. It's good pretty much the whole year. Never really ever had any big blow-ups or issues like that. So good little series, good thing to kind of get your feet wet in if you're looking to run full-size stock car stuff. So
yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. So we have I think 4 races on the schedule. I really want to go do the Motor Mile. I think that track's awesome. And then Boston, South Boston. That was my first time being there. That track's
nice, dude.
It's
super nice facility.
Yeah, you keep the momentum in those corners. I mean, it's big swooping corners, so it looks like a lot of fun. My brother had a ball. I mean, we were getting laughed about every 16 laps, 17 laps, just because I mean those Supers are 500-600 horse. So compared to a crate motor, you're looking at maybe 400 if you got a good one. So,
but I blame the spotter in that whole deal.
Yeah, so I made my spotting debut too. That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
spotting's fun. It can be stressful though.
It can. You can look real dumb real quick.
Be like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
yeah, race control gets on you pretty quick. But no, I went all right. I was just pretty much telling them, hey, leaders are coming about every 15 laps. And besides that, there was only I think about 8 cars, 9 cars. There wasn't a big car count, so it wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was a packed track, but it was good fun. You guys need to get out to a race this year. It'd be
hell yeah.
See if we get off weekend.
I want to go to more races, dude. I was thinking about how we record this every Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure the Millbridge big micro sprint races coming up. We're gonna have to like reschedule or
And
something.
midgets.
And the midget
We're running
race.
a midget
That's
show.
insane. That track. I mean, how many
Track's
cars they
small.
usually start when they have those midgets
The
there?
midgets. I'd
Yeah.
Well,
say,
they only did like 10 this year.
yeah.
The last one they did, but that was like super COVID. Like they
Oh,
weren't really
true.
allowing anybody there. But they'll run like 20 micros on that place. Like,
I mean, but that gets sketchy.
oh yeah, but
Yeah.
it looks fun as hell. One
But-
day I'm gonna get a micro.
That's
Yeah.
his dream over there. He
That's-
talks
yeah.
about it nonstop.
I'm gonna be his
Hey.
driver. He's gonna be a car owner. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be the
so
driver.
to all the fans out there, if you want to donate
I'm gonna
10
crowdfund.
$10, I'll put your name somewhere on the car.
Price of a Big Mac, you could be on
Yep.
a dirt car.
That's right. At Millbridge, dude. Millbridge is so crazy. I remember when I
It's
was young.
televised every single week.
I know that's what I was about to say. Like when I was young, Millbridge was not a big deal at all, and I feel like it's taken off in the past 2-3 years. Like whereas a bunch of kids that used like the summer shootout was the big thing for kids to go do back in the day, and Millbridge kind of started to pull some of those kids, and it's kind of become like a parallel thing, if not bigger than the summer shootout.
100%.
So pretty cool.
Ashley
Yeah.
and Jeremy have done a fantastic job of bringing that thing to relevancy.
And they've like widened the track out too,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
they've
got
done-
multiple lanes and.
I
Yeah,
mean,
even the facility too. Like all the roads going in there now are all
Mhm.
nice and
top notch. I was there before they even had a catch fence. It was literally just like a go-kart.
He was there before it was cool.
damn
Yeah, I was a hipster. But
OG. Millbridge.
like there was no fence around. Like you could go right up. They didn't race micros and stuff there at the time. It
Yeah.
was more. They did the mini outlaws
Yep.
and
yep.
the box stocks and stuff, which they still do. I think on Tuesdays. But yeah, their big micro stuff is Wednesdays and Sundays. I think or Wednesdays and Saturdays. You get a lot more of the NASCAR crowd on
Yeah.
Wednesdays. Like Christopher Bell, Sheldon Creed's out there a bunch.
I know Moffat got out there a little bit.
Moffat's been out there. A lot of the guys are actually testing their midget cars for Chili
Their
Bowl.
next gen cars.
Their next gen.
How much smaller is that than Chili Bowl?
I'd say it's about 3/4 the size.
Oh, okay. So
You think it's that big? I think it's like half the size. I'd say it's damn near an eighth mile. But I mean, the Chili Bowl's almost a big quarter when it really widens out. Like around the top of the Chili
Around the
Bowl can get
top,
pretty
yeah.
big.
Maybe next week's guest can fill us in a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Oh,
Next
that was a
week's
good
guest,
hint. I know who it is now.
Sneak.
That's a
sneak
good little
preview.
teaser right there.
Wow.
We're gonna have a good guest on next
Legend.
week. Hopefully he comes next week.
This
Hopefully
man
he
had
might
a
not.
legendary run across in the alphabet soup to get to the A main years back.
Yes. Probably
Yeah.
the best.
And we're not talking about Campbell's people.
Probably the best qualifying or to get into a race I've seen. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
I still watch that replay of the highlights of that year. That was pretty cool.
So me being in the sport for a while, like the darfiness has kind of gone away. But when I first saw this driver that could possibly be on the podcast next week, like I got giddy. Like this is when I know I have made it in my job, when I got to work with this guy and BS, and he picks on me a lot, but
He's
it's
good
all
at
right.
that.
He's really good at that.
He can
Yeah.
get you.
He'll be a good guest. Matt, you had some topics, huh?
Yeah, so I pitted the Xfinity race, which you did
Oh,
pretty
he's
well
already-
in.
He's immediately going into throwing shade.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I mean, this kind of just builds off of what we've been talking about for the last couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
What car did you pit?
So I originally showed up. I was supposed to pit the 74. And then Mike Harmon himself walks up to me. Well, he didn't walk up to me. I walked up to him. He was already sitting on the pit box. He had another tire carrier that also worked for the team that was doing tires for the 74. So I walked up to him. He goes, "Hey, are you a good carrier?" I said, at one point in my career, I think I was. He goes, Do you think
That's
you're...
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go.
You think you're a better carrier than that guy right there? I said, I don't know. Probably not. He goes, why don't you go pit the 47 today?
It was the humbleness that got him. He's like, oh, this guy's acting like he's not any good. He's probably the best carrier out
Yeah,
here.
remember that for later in the story.
You got traded.
But for
Yeah, it was.
it was a better situation that day.
You got T-Money on top of the pit box.
Dude. I mean, outstanding crew chief.
I'm going to have to get him on here
Yes.
Raimundo Tisca.
So I got moved to the 47, but pre-race, I saw one of the pit crew guys that I normally we jibber jabber back and forth. He was in on the whole grimace thing and the Kool-Aid man thing. So he likes to poke fun at me every week. And I usually just take it. Like his go-to is like, "What are you doing? You're just on your phone all day." Because
that was a pretty good rotation.
No, it's not Dump. This is
Oh,
a
it
different
isn't.
person.
Oh, I thought it was Kemper.
So, he always says, because he sees me doing my actual job, which is
being on the phone,
race team on what's going on and updating the fans.
Important stuff.
He pitted a different car in the Xfinity Series. A car, would you say it's a tier above or on par?
I don't know who you're talking about.
The 07?
Oh, I'd say it's on par.
Yeah.
I mean, the finishes it gets are on par.
So, but what I'm getting at is this person's a professional pit crew guy, and I'm semi-pro right now at best.
Semi-pro retired. Semi-retired.
Semi-pro, semi-retired. So the expectation level between the two pitting jobs, I think, are pretty different. My stuff is more of the lines of just get it tight and we'll race the car. They're looking to pick up spots on pit road. And if you guys have been following along, I haven't pitted since...
You've pitted this year.
I haven't pitted in 3 weeks, so I haven't practiced like every single day like these guys do.
You caught the can at Indy that one time.
Yeah, in the back of the head.
Yeah, in the back of the head. That was
nice.
So we go out and, I'm working with one guy that I've worked with before, the jack man, but I hadn't worked with the two changers. And the changers really kind of facilitate how good your day is going to be. You can only lose time as a carrier and a jack man. You can't make it up. So we were having pretty good stops. Like we were holding our own. I think we gained 5 or 6 spots during the race. Respectful as a semi,
respectfully.
To where the crew chief is like, "Oh, we want you back for next week." I'm like, I don't really make that
subtle
decision.
flex.
Yeah. But I show up on Sunday and I go to this changer. I'm finally ready to dish it back because I had a good day on pit road.
Oh, yeah. He's feeling good.
Feeling cocky.
And I go up to him and I say, "Listen, between you and me, I do this for fun and this is your job." And I waxed your ass on pit road.
Got him.
All day yesterday. He goes, "Bro, we had engine trouble all day. You guys couldn't even change a right rear tire before we could change all 4. We'd beat you off pit road every single time." I'm like, I'm just displaying this information. I'm just telling you.
Facts.
I got to this guy so bad. He goes, "Bro, I make way more money than you. This isn't even a contest."
You won at that point.
That point, I just stopped because you've already made yourself look like an asshole. There's nothing I can do.
Yep.
And it's not like,
just to clarify, Matt's really good at getting under people's skin. Like he has this dry sense of.
Well, it's because I show no emotion.
It's like how he comments neat on all of my Instagram posts, and I don't know why. I just feel like this guy's trying to roast me.
No, that's genuine. I do find all your stuff very neat.
Yeah.
That's a very Wisconsin word, neat.
Yeah.
Neato, eh?
Yeah, that's not neat.
Or that's kind of Canadian, but
that's close.
People, yeah.
They say eh?
You accentuate every vowel.
Oh.
Just like that. So, this pit crew guy, I'll say, there's a tier system within the divisions. So even in the Cup Series, there's tiers of pit crews. There's the house teams, which you're pitting. So say you work for Gibbs, you're going to pit a Gibbs car. Then you got kind of what I call your taxi squad, which is you kind of work on a car farther down in the field. But if someone were to get hurt on one of the main teams, you go up to that team and they replace someone on the taxi squad.
You're like the 6th man in basketball. You're
right.
Like, you're right
like
there.
The guy. And then there's the Devo teams. And these Devo guys, it goes one or two ways.
They whip it.
Some guys are really cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I thought it was whip it.
That's what I said. Whip it.
Oh, I thought you said. Anyway,
I said whip it. Go ahead.
whip it good.
Yeah.
Whip it.
But
Took him right off his tracks.
then
Y'all see
there's
that?
yeah, holy, just put the brakes on. But then there's the Devo teams, which to save costs, some of the teams get just to kind of get them reps, get them familiar with the Cup Series, how it goes and stuff. I would classify this person as a Devo person. So they're not even on the taxi squad, and they're not on a house car. And you just want to sit there and think you're that much better than me?
How long is this guy pitted?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? I am.
That's a good question. How long has he been doing this?
Honestly, I don't think he's been doing it that long.
I think another guy you're talking about, and he's a younger dude. So probably not that long, but we'll still make fun of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to
So
swallow,
if
swallow your pride.
if he wants to come on and defend his side of the story,
There
by
you
all
go.
means.
That's an invite.
But to have that much entitlement to be, I mean, I'm not knocking you. You work for a very good organization.
And he makes a lot of money, apparently.
He makes way more
Dude
money
makes
than me.
billions of dollars. Got a house in the lake from changing tires.
People,
They're-
some have.
Some do, yeah.
Not
Maybe not next year.
maybe not next year.
I think I could change tires next year.
I'm trying to be a fuel man.
I mean, you gotta
Tall.
bend down.
Yeah,
you're almost
that's
too
kind of
tall.
rare.
Yeah.
I know.
You
Denny-
could reach around and do both front tires at the same time.
Perfect.
But yeah, so that was my little riff.
All right, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry it took up a lot of time.
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah.
But that was interesting.
Oh yeah, it's always interesting. There's lots of interesting stories at the racetrack. I did a little karaoke this weekend in the infield. If y'all might have seen my Instagram post, that's kind of like a tradition. I don't know why. My parents and their friends, David and Kissy, they've been friends since high school. They've known me since I was a baby. They love to get into a little karaoke at the racetrack in the infield. They get pretty wild down there. They kind of started at Daytona. It's actually funny. They came to Daytona to watch me race, and then in Texas, that's when it snowed and everything iced over, so they couldn't go back. So they just stayed all week in Daytona and watched me race the road course that next week, which is pretty cool. They got and since they did that, they got a sweet ass spot on Lake Lloyd,
That's
super good. But they, I guess, got bored during the week, so they bought a karaoke, or they bought a mic. It's not really karaoke. You just hook your phone up Bluetooth and play a song and just sing.
Aggressively sing over the person singing.
They really don't sing over it. I sing over it, and you could definitely tell. They kind of go quiet enough where it sounds okay, but I will sing into the mic. I will be on it like that, so you cannot hear.
Touch your lips.
So you cannot hear the music.
You want to give us a little taste?
No, I mean, I'll tell you what's some of my go-tos are Bartender Song by Rehab, Miss You by the Rolling Stones. Get a little ooh-hoo in there. You know what I'm talking about? There's lots of good ones out there. Pretty much anything
We
that's
need that
old.
last one as a soundbite.
We probably do. Anything that's like an old song like that, especially some good early 2000s songs, always hit home.
I'm a big Brooks and Dunn, Neon Moon.
Oh yeah, that's
Great
a good one.
karaoke
That's
song.
a good one. I feel like a lot of those old country songs are good ones. My dad's big on Country Boy Can't Survive.
Nice.
That's pretty on brand.
So, how was the homecoming? You had fun?
Oh yeah, dude, it's always fun going down there. The infield at Texas, I think just because I know it and I know, I don't really know the people, but I know the spots down there. There's this one sweet ass Airstream setup they got. The whole side opens up, and they got a bar in there. They got speakers in there. They got a bunch of little games you can play. There's also this sweet ass 2-story bus that drives around the infield. I've been on there before. They got karaoke on there actually as well, but usually try to run them off from our karaoke setup. That's where the karaoke is really going down.
Top 5 party destination for NASCAR?
I think so. There's a
I
lot
think
of.
you're a little biased.
I definitely am a little biased because I've been to that one so many times. I think if I were to go out in Michigan infield, I'd probably have a great time too.
I think it's probably a sneaky one that just popped up. Road America.
Oh, I think definitely.
Wisconsin
I bet
people know how to throw down.
Oh, that's Wisconsin. They drink beer
Wisconsin.
up there. You know what I'm saying? That kind of sounds northeastern, but whatever.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah. I think a good nighttime around little Elkhart Lake Raceway.
I got in trouble at Sonoma Raceway during the Legends Nationals when they had them there. that was probably what 8-9 years ago.
That was a while ago.
I found it was actually our sponsors, Vespa, brand new, had like 2 hours on it. And one of the other drivers, Machine Tyrell, kid's a shoe, like one of the best Legends drivers. He's still out west racing, but we were racing. He was on a 50. I was on the Vespa. Vespa was like a 60 or 70 cc, so it was almost as fast as.
But you're a large individual.
I am a large individual, and I'm not very good on a bike. High center of gravity, it just doesn't work out real well. Come around a corner, and there's a quad sitting right where my racing line was perfect. Smacked the apex, exited perfect. He was right there. Nothing I could do. Laid the Vespa down, tried to run it off, but I was doing like 35 miles an hour, and took a nice little spill. And I look up like halfway through falling and trying to like catch myself. It was a cop on a quad. And at Sonoma, they hire like highway patrol and like all them because it's so big. There's so many roads around there. And he had been watching us from on the track for like half an hour. And he was just waiting for us to come close enough pretty much. And I came around the corner, laid it down, jumped up, grabbed a bike. I had a couple beers before this. So I didn't really want to talk to the man. And the bike kind of slid perfectly down almost to our campsite. So I just kind of picked the bike up and like limped it back into the campsite, set it up, sat in the chair, and the cop just like walked right over. It was like kept yelling at me and stuff. Hey, stop, sir. And I was just like, this is it. This is where I'm gonna get it. And parents were there. My brother was racing. We had like a setup and everything. But the cop actually took my license, and I thought, I thought it was gonna be all bad. But luckily, we knew my brother knew a couple of the people at the track and everything, and they were only a couple campers down that were running the series. It was I forgot, it was Legends of the Pacific or something. That was our group.
That's a sick ass name.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good racing. But I got away with that one. But the Vespa, it broke the key off the ignition. So the next day before practice, I spent 2 hours picking the end of a key out of an ignition.
That sucks.
But it was a good time. It's a good infield for sure. Well, it's not really
I think
infield.
just anywhere where you're racing and you're staying overnight, like especially when you're like acts like Legends racing, for example. I'm sure it's just like it's the same thing with late models. Wherever you're staying overnight, it's always so much fun because all the racers are there. They're all about having a good time. Yeah. Everybody's friends for the night until the next day when you're racing. So. Yeah,
there was a couple guys that were puking in helmets the next day. If that tells you anything about the party we had. But the best one, he actually got fast time and pulled into the pits and emptied his helmet out, getting out of it. And we were like, "You got fast time?" He's like, "I don't care. I need to go take a shower." But it was a good time. That was probably 2012, 13, I think. But yeah. Legends cars, man. I wish I wasn't 6'8" because they're really fun to drive. I've driven around parking lots and stuff at the shop, but never at the track. I think my knees would go to the dashboard if we ever got a
like got in a serious crash.
Yeah.
So what was your progression? Did you go from go-karts straight to full body stock cars?
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't even race go-karts. I just had go-karts. I had a shifter cart. I had it was called a Sidewinder cart, and it had won a national championship in like, I want to say it was like 82. Like me and my dad restored it. It was sweet. And of course it got stolen, but I pretty much learned how to race using that. We would, there was a nice parking lot down the road from my house in Sacramento that was pretty much a racetrack. I mean, it had elevation change and everything, nice corners. And so go down there all the time. But yeah, I mean, my dad raced, pretty much ARCA. It was Winston West back in the day. Yeah. Coca-Cola Cowboy. There's some funny pictures of my dad. He used to work for Sacramento Coca-Cola, so he would run big block Mopars, Chryslers in like the bomber division, everything, and made his way up. So I was always around racing, and it was pretty much a jump from mechanic, really, because I mean I'd driven late models. You know, we had a bunch of acreage out and big driveway and stuff, so I'd jump in the car and I knew how to drive them, stuff like that, but. Yeah, I got an opportunity to go test like shakedown, and then I did a couple of starting parks for my brother. He owned 3 or 4 of them at the time, so did a couple shakedowns, starting parks, then finally got to go full kill. Couple races, did all right. I just really didn't have the funding to pay for a crash clause, so I was just really taking it easy, just taking care of the car. But this year coming up should be really fun. I think I have enough money to actually go out and be serious. So late model racing is so much fun. I mean, the people in it's you got some legends. I mean, it's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I miss short track racing. I just miss the times you could have when you're camping out like that. Like I'm trying to think of anything right now. I know I have something good, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
What were the tracks you ran late models at in Texas?
In Texas, there was Houston Motorsports Park, Central Texas Speedway, and San Antonio Speedway was open for a little bit. It was actually recently on what's that Dale Jr. show? Lost Speedways. It was on Lost
Great show.
Speedways. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They should have interviewed me for it because I won a race there.
Well, you have been on TV before.
No, I was saying have me on TV for
Like
that.
every Sunday?
I mean, every Saturday, but
Saturday?
Yeah.
prior to that,
I'm not trying to get on TV. I was trying to talk about San Antonio Speedway because it's cool.
I'm alluding to your sweet little show with
The Track
Daniel,
Rats?
Yeah, with
Yes.
Daniel Hemrick.
Didn't your best friend Kemp run at San Antonio Speedway, a mini stock?
Oh, allegedly. I don't.
Allegedly. There's no pictures on the internet.
I
to
would
prove
not
it.
race a mini stock or anything less than like an actual race car than at San Antonio Speedway because I think you might die.
Yeah, is it
Like
that?
it was so fast, and the crashes that would happen there were so gnarly.
How about that big block modified wreck?
Oh my! Up in what was that?
No,
somewhere in the
Connecticut?
Northeast.
No,
I think it was
that was like a tour type modified. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually raced there. Waterford Speed Bowl. It's
Waterford, yeah.
pretty cool little track
Violent.
up there.
Glad
in,
everybody's okay on that one.
up there
That
in
was scary.
Connecticut.
I don't know.
Well, they said everybody was going to survive.
So here's really, I didn't even know anybody got hurt.
Yeah, there was
There was
multiple.
like 50 people standing on the
I
fence.
saw that because that was the pit side. That wasn't the grandstand side.
Yeah, that was backstretch. Right.
Because
Oh.
I actually saw the Black Flag podcast guys were at that race in the grandstands, and from their angle of it, you can see it go up the wall like that, which is crazy because there's an opening right there that he didn't hit the opening.
Ooh, cut the car in half.
Yeah,
Doing Mike
he
Harmon.
could have harmed that thing.
That Bristol throwback.
But yeah, no, Waterford's actually I race Legends cars everywhere, but Waterford was one of the places that was really cool. Never got to win there. Pretty bummed. There's some tracks you go to. Like there's some tracks you can go to like a bigger Legends car team and go run well at. Like there's some up there in the Northeast. Like there's Chemung Speedrome I raced at. We won there. There's a couple of them up there. But Waterford, the locals there,
That's
they don't play around.
That's Tommy Baldwin country up there, ain't it?
Tommy Baldwin.
Dommy Ball. That's another. We should get
Fucking
him as a
Dommy.
guest.
We
Yes,
need
yes.
Tommy.
Yeah. I would say Waterford, Langley, Virginia has tough locals, dude. When you go there, that track's just so weird.
Stafford.
I think
Stafford.
Well, I never raced at Stafford, but then I'd go as far as to say that the Texas lokes in Legends cars back in the day, like you used to have some big names. You have a Stephen Ross come down, Daniel Hemrick come down, and they weren't taking down the Texas lokes.
We were watching that race with them in it. You were
Oh yeah, the Legends car. That was the Legends Nationals. At,
Where you started
at
shotgun
Langley.
on the field.
Yeah, I started dead last pretty much. I had won a national qualifier and we sucked all weekend, so I just ran the B main and used it for extra practice. But that was when Evan Swilling just flipped the hell out of a Legends car. Pretty spectacular. I remember I can still see it in my head as I was driving by it flipping up here. It's pretty awesome. That track's dangerous for Legends cars. I think anything because it's so flat and fast.
true.
Like any track, it's like Texas, dude. Like when Brandon Brown hit the wall this weekend, he really wasn't even like it looks like you're going slow when you hit the wall off too, but you're not. It's so flat. It takes you a long time to get there, but when you hit it, dude, you knock the hell out of it.
That's like JJ last year in the Fat Boy car.
Exactly, dude.
Dude, talking about the fall Texas race,
Oh yeah, that was a bad week.
that gives me nightmares as
Dude,
a
it's-
picture guy.
I mean, I think it's bad. It's been bad 2 years in a row for different reasons this year. I mean, they wrecked half the field on like lap 30 this year off turn 2.
All because Bubba ran out of talent.
I mean, it happens. I've done it before over there in practice.
That was his direct quote. He literally
Really?
said, I ran out of
Okay, I
talent.
Yeah,
thought
you can't be mad at that one.
You can't
He
be.
said it.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
want to be swaying any which way on this
Yeah.
podcast. He literally said, I ran out of
Everybody's
talent.
All right, 10-4.
No political
I-
stances here.
We love Bubba here.
We are not pro, neither against Bubba. We
Yeah.
fall right down the middle.
Yeah, we're right down the middle. We don't go either way because we try to make everyone happy because that always works.
Yep.
Uh,
Especially in NASCAR.
yeah.
But now saying
But
that
like, I
people
don't
will hate
understand
us.
how those wrecks like that off of turn 2 don't happen more often because it is impossibly narrow down that back straightaway. A lot of people don't realize it, but really like 3 wide and you're Like if you went 4 wide, you'd be door to door from wall to white line. And I'm not kidding. And it's tight. Like I went 3 wide into turn 3 last week, and I was scared. But I was like, I was like, these guys will definitely lift before me. What
was the pucker factor?
High. But like I knew, like I was in the middle, so kind of there's like the high lane there, or the second lane is where you want to be. So I was like, all right, because it was Brandon Brown on the bottom, me in the middle, Tommy Joe on top. I was like, well, Tommy, he's not gonna like chop me, so he's just gonna get up in the junk and he'll fall back. Brandon's gonna try to stick it in there and stay there, but he's just not gonna because there's not enough room. The top's way too dominant, or the second lane is way too dominant at Texas, especially 3 and 4. 3 and 4 at Texas is very sketchy. There's not a lot of room for error, but in an Xfinity car, you're like all but wide open.
So, can you tell the difference between resin and PJ1?
Resin just comes in faster. That's the only difference I feel.
So that's what, because like
and
it changes every week.
I think maybe the resin, like when it gets like a good resin versus a good PJ1, I think the PJ1 is a little bit overpowered. It's a little OP.
Because the resin's there just enough that you need
it's just enough, but it's there quick too. Like I went up there pretty early and it wasn't really good, but it wasn't like the PJ1 when it's not activated yet and it's just junk. Like I went in turn 3 and I was kind of moving all over the place, but I still was able to get through there. If I went in there like that early with PJ1, I would have been wadded up big. And then turn 3, you can knock the head. Turn 3 and 4, it's like dude Truex when he hit the wall.
Yeah,
killed that thing.
Hard hit. Speaking of racing services, how do you? What's your opinion on the Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I've been seeing them repave it, and I don't know. It'll be.
I think it's gonna be really fast.
It's gonna be very fast. I think an Xfinity car will be absurdly fast there. I think they're gonna have to do like the package they had at Indy back in the day, with the Xfinity car. If they don't, we'll be going like 205 miles an hour. I think in turn 1.
Think it'll be multi-lane racing or just
it's going to be there's really not very many lanes to be run on because it's going to be so narrow.
Yeah, they're narrowing it up, aren't they?
Yeah. It's going to be like Darlington, but bigger and faster.
So you can run the wall?
Probably, dude. You're going to be like either running the wall or running the white line. It's going to be right there. So, good Lord.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
You yell at me for having my phone.
I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to get on me. At least mine wasn't ringing out loud.
Mine wasn't ringing out loud.
We'll say it was. We'll just say it was. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've been watching on Pave It. I'm excited to like see if they're gonna have tests there or anything like that.
Well, they have to.
No, just go in dry. No practice either. Make that the one race. There's no practice.
It's like COVID where you just unload the car and send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Atlanta is where COVID started. We got there. We're gonna go unload, and then we went home.
But Atlanta, it'll wear pretty quickly. I mean, they get snow and stuff, and
yeah, that's true. That's not a lot of snow, but it should
enough.
Wear quick. I mean, so does Texas, and it's not really wearing.
That's true.
How they'd like it to.
I think that's the compound that they used.
No, yeah, because they got some new kind of asphalt. They got this new asphalt now that like drains water apparently.
I saw that.
And they have like drain pipes under the racetrack to funnel the water out. Which
but
I
heard
don't know how
like it's not a great racing surface. Yes, it funnels water and you can race faster.
Put it on the apron.
But I hear that the racing surface itself is not as good.
What do you mean not as good?
It's like
it doesn't take rubber as good.
Really? See, when did they used this type of stuff before?
Where was the last repave?
Kansas.
I know they used it on the last place in
Charlotte. I know that I've seen the pictures of it, and the asphalt is very dark.
Right.
Or Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Well, look, we don't even go to Kentucky anymore.
Yeah.
So but obviously that worked out really well.
We need more cement tracks in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Another Dover.
And honestly, this Nashville's fun, and it's concrete. Yeah. So
I'll die on this hill. We need 3 touring series at the Milwaukee Mile.
Milwaukee would be sick. I think a modern day Xfinity car at Milwaukee
would rip.
It would be sick, dude. Like you can use the bumper in the Xfinity car. Hell, I was using it at Texas at 1.5 miles, but the way they work, the way they line up, like 1 and 2, it's so hard to pass at TMS. And if I had momentum, I was just gonna move whoever was in front of me. I did it a couple times, and it surprisingly didn't crash anybody or anything bad happened. I was just able to pass them and move on.
So one of the coolest tracks in California, I think, for short track racing, Kern County Raceway. It's pretty new. We took a modified there a couple times. My brother actually won a modified race there, but beautiful facility. I wish they would send like an ARCA race there or something because it's
super nice.
It's fast too. It's good racing. Couple lanes.
I've always wanted to go because they have that big super late race there.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go run that. There's a couple cool ones.
Shout out Jeremy Doss and all those guys out there always running those tracks.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's that. All American Speedway is cool. That's where my dad has a track championship there. Oldest brother has a track championship there. So all the Northern California tracks I have love for. It's Stockton 99. Some legends started there. It's a little beat up, but it's a fun place to race. But
there's some cool racetracks out there, really. Like, I guess this is more Southern California, but I raced Blythe. I don't know if it's open. I don't really remember the actual name of it. I might have. Oh, it's right there. I-10 Lucas Oil Speedway.
Look at that. Just Winter Blast.
Just bash your head on the microphone.
Yeah, 2008, Blythe, California. The weirdest shaped racetrack I've ever raced on in my entire life.
Like a peanut?
It's like a quarter-mile Pocono. So the short shoot is really short. Like I ran a doubleheader there.
It's almost like Nazareth.
Yeah, the short shoot between 3 and 4 is like so short that you can either like the first day I did this. I'd go and turn 3, I'd stay on the bottom, gas it up again, lift again for 4, and then turn again.
How do you set a car up for that?
And then the next day I was like, I don't really like that. That just feels weird. So I just started driving in so deep into turn 3, and I would just swing it way out like in that little short shoot and then cut back across 4, and that was even faster. But it was definitely a weird racetrack. Not a lot of stuff around there. There was like some weird little burger stand that we went to that was like on the way there. Pretty cool. But
well, they used to have Mesa Marin. My dad raced there. It was almost
was that Kern?
Well, it was Bakersfield. There was Bakersfield. Mesa Marin's Bakersfield.
Okay.
And so, but I think was Mesa Marin. But it was my dad told me it was almost off camber. It was so flat it was almost off camber.
Really?
Yeah, and he said it. Or no, this was Saugus. Sorry, totally different track.
Yeah,
Saugus is almost. It's not a track anymore, but it's
like a parking lot.
Yeah.
But the racetrack, like the walls are still there. I think.
Yeah. And it's like sitting in the middle of a industrial area. But there's a couple tracks like that. Carson City was a really cool track. It had no outside walls in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so if you went off, you're in the desert, and so you'd see just clouds and clouds of sand and stuff, and then the car would jump back up onto the track.
Would there be walls like in the straightaways?
Yeah, so there'd be.
So that's like how South Alabama's that way. Like
Yeah.
if you go off 1 and 2 or 3, like 3 and 4, it's a little better. But if you go off from 1 and 2, you can go forever.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out there.
I raced at Florence Motor Speedway, and there's no walls and on the turns, and I watched a guy almost make it to the woods. You could drop a wheel off at Florence coming into 3. And if you don't get it back up fast enough, you totally miss the entrance.
Yeah.
And I watched him get off, get back on, and lock him up. And he literally jumped the car. I saw the bottom of the car while I was entering. I'm like, I got on the radio. I'm like, is that guy okay? And he's like, yeah, he's driving around the woods now. Because literally it's like 100 yards, maybe that, and then there's straight up woods.
Really?
Fun track. A lot of sand on the track, though. That made it
I
interesting.
went down there and I helped a buddy of mine. That reminds me, flying off racetracks. I'm going to bring up a name y'all probably haven't heard in a while or haven't heard at all. Ryan Lawler. Know of him? Heard of him?
Lawler.
He ran
familiar.
some truck stuff like when I ran Bandoleros. He was a Texas guy. At Mobile, there's no walls.
Oh,
you got a front straightaway at Mobile, and that is it. And dude, he jumped off and if you fall off the back, it's like a damn hill all the way down to the trees.
You're jumping it.
He went off he got right reared, went off and flipped all the way down this hill and into the trees. And this was back in the day, Hans devices weren't even required in
Like
Super
open
Late.
seats, not even
He
a headrest.
didn't have a Hans device. He got out fine. And I'm like, dude, I didn't say this, but because I was 9 years old when this happened. But in my head, I'm like, that's the luckiest thing that could have
It was
ever
freaking
happened to you.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty crazy wrecks. It's been interesting. Short track racing, you see some wild stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was at All American Speedway, and a bomber had a passenger, and the guy put his hand between the door and the roll bar and got door slapped, and the guy was screaming. And finally, I think it was a yellow or something, the guy got out of the car. The guy told he got out of the car on the front stretch while they're yellow flag and ran over to the ambulance with no fingers. That was probably one of the craziest.
Bomber's got some good wrecks. I know Matt's trying to lead into something else right now, but I have one more story
Short track racing's important.
About when we were at Nashville Fairgrounds and I was racing Bandoleros. There was this bomber. They're racing on the quarter mile. This bomber goes off in turn one. Head on the wall. Like, he didn't really do anything. Just drove head on the wall. He put that bitch in reverse, backed up, and then just got right back in line under caution. Like nothing had happened. And he did it so fast. It was like when Chase Elliott hit the tire wall at the Roval that year. Like, he hit it.
Like,
cranked
before
her
he
in
even
reverse.
stopped, put it in reverse.
Yeah, and then
Aggressively put it on the column.
one wheel peel off the wall and just kept digging. It was pretty sweet. All right, Matt.
All right, we're going to transition. Great transition here. We're going to transition to, we put up a question on Reddit. So if you guys want to be more interactive with the show, we'll probably put up a question every single week. But the first topic, which I think is an interesting one from either a driver or, marketing guy standpoint. What are the bad experiences with fans or sponsors you've had? I mean, you can't.
I really never had bad experience with a fan other than like maybe like coming back 6 times for hero cards or something.
Yeah, that grinds my gears. I think for me, I've had bad experiences with sponsors because the guys who pay.
Watch what you say here.
No names. I'm
not gonna name names. It's just I'll say, depending on the monetary donation they have made, some are way more demanding than others. And that can be, frustrating from my perspective of trying to do my job. Yeah. One of the craziest things I've ever seen from a sponsor, one of the sponsors brought, I don't even know how to explain what they would be.
A monkey.
Not a monkey.
That'd have been cool.
Like promo girls.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. He proposed to one of them on pit road.
What?
Yeah. At a race this year, he proposed to one of his promo girls on pit road.
Did she say yes?
She did say yes.
Congratulations.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So that was a wild experience on pit road.
What did you like? Were you nearby when this happened?
I was close by. I was kind of trying to get the whole crowd.
Were you like
to
walking
their
up and
area.
like stopped in your tracks and saw what was happening?
It happened like 2 minutes before I got there.
Was it during the race?
No, it was pre-race. So
Okay.
I mean, there was tons of fanfare.
So was it on pit road or like by the pit box?
It was in our pit box on pit road.
You know what? Hats off to that guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
love
That
is
takes some
love.
balls.
Sometimes when you know, you know.
He shot his shot.
I mean, they'll never forget that.
No, it's an iconic story.
I'm not gonna forget that either. I wasn't even there.
For real. I like when sponsors do a little pregame before they come out and get on the
That was fun.
This year alone, I've had to remind people that you cannot have
Got to be professional.
beverages on pit road.
Hey, James Finch did it a lot.
Right. But
And having a coffee cup when it's 90 degrees out with a top on it doesn't look good.
I said,
a little suspicious.
I said, as long as you don't have them on pit road, you can go right behind this fence and drink them, but you just can't have them here. And then they came back with styrofoam cups.
Yeah, it was coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
Double cup.
90,
with Bailey's.
90 93 degrees outside, but
Yeah.
if you guys want to drink coffee, by all means. And the worst thing is, so I have to do like a pre-race talk to sponsor people, respect the crew chief and the engineer. This is kind of, we're all happy you're here, but we kind of need you to respect.
Stay behind the dotted
area.
line.
Stay behind the orange tape. What's the first thing they do? First pit stop? They're all over top, and our engineer has to cuss them out aggressively.
Which is impressive because that was Hillman too, wasn't it?
Correct.
And usually Hillman does speak his mind. He doesn't mind telling people.
Steve, get these guys out of here.
Steve
So-
Gray, also a legend.
Yep.
It can be challenging at times, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all there. They're all happy.
We wouldn't be there with some of those
Right.
people not being there.
So shout out to all the sponsors, big and small. You
Yep.
guys mean a lot to us in the sport.
I did at Indy this year. We had to take some sponsors, and none of them had hot passes. It was all for the booth or whatever. And our boss wondered if I could get them down onto pit road just to get a nice little tour or whatever. And so I asked one of the main security guys. I'm like, hey, I have my hard card, blah blah blah. Can can I just give him a quick? And he was totally cool with it.
Really?
Yeah. And usually they're like, no way.
At Indy?
At Indy.
Damn, a yellow shirt.
A yellow shirt?
A yellow shirt. And then we started walking. I was like, I'm going to do real quick. I'll do up and down. I'm going to show them their pit box that their sponsors are from and everything. And we're walking by, and I don't know his name. The NASCAR official, bigger guy, big beard. It's really cool. I totally forgot. I was drawing a blank. But he asked them, they had a couple kids. They're like, hey, do you want to come take a picture with Kyle Busch's car? And I'm like, they usually know. This was pre-race, like probably 10, 15 minutes before the race started. It all came over, took pictures with the car and everything. And this is Indy. They were still pretty strict with the COVID stuff. I mean, there was people, but it wasn't. Right. It was limited. So that was really cool. Usually they're sticklers for.
Especially there, dude. Yellow shirt.
Yellow shirts don't mess around.
No, they
Indy
don't.
Indy was my first race going on the road. Was it last year? Yeah, last year.
Yeah, Indy holds a special place in my heart. That's where I made my Cup debut as a pit crew guy.
Really?
Yep.
Same, actually, because I was second cam, but that's not really pit crew.
Support staff.
Sport, but that was also really cool. I mean,
I think that was the last race on the Brickyard, on the oval.
Yep. Yeah, I had Joey Gase did actually really good. He was, I think, 18,
that's right.
19th.
I have one of the funniest pit crew stories, I think, and I'm going to share it right now.
Good deal.
So this was during COVID, so nobody was at the racetrack, and it wasn't my team. It was the team next up on pit road. I don't know how to say this without
throwing somebody under the bus.
The rear changer had to go to the bathroom, but there really aren't any bathrooms on pit road, and it's super long. There's a porta potty all the way at the end. So this pit crew person
was laying a log,
was pinching one off, and the car's coming down pit road, and they're like, "Where's the rear changer? Where's the rear changer?"
Oh no!
And this is where Dump came in. Dump,
perfect name for it.
Yeah.
He changed.
He's not a changer. He's a gas man, but he was doing second can at the time. He's wearing a fire suit, so he's like, "This is my time to shine."
No way. No way.
Nobody gets to do this. So he takes the gun,
no
puts
way,
his helmet on, and he changed 4 tires.
No way.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know about this?
I've heard this story, I think, but yeah.
Dump's a legend for that.
Yeah. So this changer gets back, and everyone's like, "Where were you? Where were you? We had a 4-tire pit stop." They go, "What? Huh?" So
and Dump's like,
it's like,
I got it.
I got
it's
it.
Covered.
Because he's like, "This will never happen again. I'll never be able to change tires again." I'm like,
he'll tell his grandkids that story.
Yeah, I think he's done everything.
You want to hear about the time your grandpa changed tires at the Brickyard 400?
Tire changer was taking a poop.
So I mean, that's a wild story, but that happened the day that I made my debut.
Wild story about pit crew. Todd Parrott, I was actually his car chief at Bristol last year, and James Davison, don't know what that was, but blew the splitter off, and we had to blew it down, and we were trying to get it up off the ground, and he threw me a helmet. I didn't even know whose helmet it was. I'm standing next to the box trying to catch a can, and he throws this aluminum block that we were next to Gibbs or somebody. He doesn't even ask their crew, walks over and grabs this thing off their pit box, like gets down from the box. This is Bristol night race. Walks over, grabs the aluminum block, and looks at me, throws the aluminum block from across the thing, and goes, "Go throw this under the splitter, and we'll drop the car on it." And the whole time, we're the only ones on pit road. The Gibbs guys are all just standing there, like, just staring. They're like, "Why did this?"
Ready to see what's
probably don't
going
even
on.
know who Todd Parrott is, just to be honest. I mean, they're like, they all look like they need to.
That's
but
a legend.
Very much so.
Cup Series champion.
First crew chief to make $1 million.
First time I went over the wall in my career, and threw this block under there and told the jackman drop the car on it. And when I told you he dropped, they had it up to try to bang fenders out and everything. The thing was up there. It was like 2 pumps up there. And the kid just went, this car dropped from like 1.5 feet. And the splitter went, bing, perfect. And James Davison had never driven there before. He showed up to the track that day and was like looking around like, holy cow, guys, we're doing this. Because that was COVID season, no practice, nothing. He had never driven that track till the green flag dropped. And we got him back out there. And unfortunately, one of the splitter bars had moved just enough where he turned left, and it started getting into the tire, so it retired him. But I went over the wall that day, and I was like, I'll probably never forget that. The funniest part was the block, though. Like, he literally gives zero fucks and walked right over there and took it off their box. Todd Parrott was interesting, man. I love that guy.
Usually those guys are pretty generous when it comes to that stuff, but
I think in the heat of the moment, I think they were just shocked that he didn't even ask. He just ran over there and grabbed it. Like, I think they had used it because everybody that was a pretty hectic race. There was a lot of wrecks and that. So I think they may already use it. And I think that's where he saw it and was like, "That's a great idea.
I'm gonna take this thing.
I'm gonna need this." But that was interesting. Being a car chief was stressful during COVID, man. 2 races a week, that was insane.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was for everyone involved. It was
especially for the organization we work for. It was a little hectic. We were having 5 cars with Tommy, right?
I feel like at one point we had 7.
I think we got to cut that.
Yeah, maybe. NASCAR doesn't like.
But it wasn't. It was just the service. It wasn't really. I mean, don't tell me they don't know what was going on. Like they knew.
We all showed up. I mean, it was all the social media too. Every time we posted something, there was like,
yeah, it's like, oh, that's
every
weird.
car was in the same shop.
That's right. Is there any more questions? We really ran with that one.
Let's see. How do you manage expectations versus reality? You know, in your current situation. I guess that was geared more towards you.
I don't know. I don't know. I just go drive as good as I can. I really don't. I try not to keep. Honestly, expectations are just for me to be as good as I can be. If I mess up, then that's like if I mess up once, that's below my expectations. I want to be perfect when I go out there, and whatever happens after that happens. I mean, that's the only thing I can control. I mean, there's nothing else. I can't do anything else. All I can control is what I go and do on the racetrack, what mistakes I make, and that's it. So, plain and simple answer for you.
Here's one for you. How do you approach trying to get new sponsors? Do you cold call or you just work through a friend of a friend?
I mean, both, I guess. Cold call. Matt helps me out with that. And it's kind of hard. It's hard to. It's really hard to initiate that conversation, like especially if you're just sending emails too.
It's tough.
Like it's just gonna go in their junk folder like 85% of the time. But the one that you do get that actually answers back, and then you talk to them for a bit, that's what you do it for. And I've heard there was a GM a long time ago when I very first came out here. So you just got to keep throwing shit at the wall until something sticks. I mean,
yeah, you send out 25 emails, you get 3 responses. Then after they ask for pricing, you get
one maybe.
You get one
maybe.
You get one back.
And then from that one, you talk, and then they say, yeah, it's not in the budget right now, so why don't you come back in 6 months?
Yeah.
It's a tough environment right now because a lot of companies are still hurting from COVID.
Yeah, and they can't even get stuff to them. Like,
they're back at it, but they don't have the stuff to.
I know, or even just car manufacturers, dude. Like,
well, look at the Hoosier deal. We can't even get tires for late models. I mean,
I'm surprised that hasn't affected Goodyear at all. Especially, I mean, because they make like real road tires too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all the tire companies. But Hoosier's small. Hoosier's very small. So that's
Hoosier's
owned
by Goodyear.
Is it?
Nah, I don't think.
Which one is?
General Tire owns
General Tire.
Hoosier
General
owns
Tire
General.
owns-
They got the ARCA series.
That's why ARCA runs General Tires instead of Hoosier now. But they're really just Hoosier.
Well, I suggested running American Racer because
I don't understand what.
And
like,
I got blasted online.
Like, what is the problem?
They
with,
hate them apparently, and so
run a Goodyear. Goodyear makes a 10-inch late model tire.
Yep.
They used to run them in Texas all the time.
Everybody's stuck on the F45s. You have to have F45s. Nobody else wants it. That's
like
what
if you
we
want,
ran the F56s last week at Sobo, and it was awesome. They freaking.
I think I run an F56 somewhere before. Like you ran F56s on the rights, and I think F45s.
Yeah, they gave us one F45, and the rest are 56s.
Like,
why can't we just have an open tire rule?
That'd be cool. Like back in the day when they did Goodyear and.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, Goodyear and Hoosier?
Goodyear
yeah,
and
but I
Hoosier.
mean, then you'd be spending a lot.
Then everybody
of
would
money.
find the one that was better and faster, and then they all go to that.
Or you could be the local guy and be like, well, no one's racing American racers. I can get them for.
But I mean, at the same time, like it's if they want to race, an American racer doesn't seem that bad.
And they're cheaper. They're like $200 cheaper.
I would definitely do that then.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the point of. I mean, I'm sorry, Hoosier's a good tire, but they have the short track world by the balls, and they just keep jacking the price up.
Everybody's so set on these F45s because they ran them for so long, and it's all they have.
It's a good tire.
Yeah,
it creates good racing. You got to take care of it. You can hammer it when you need to.
The F56 is cycle better though. I mean, we ran 80 laps at Sobo, and I mean those tires still feel good.
56 is like a little bit harder, and they're really
harder
good.
compound.
They can last a long time. Like I said, and I think it was Jegs. Like I ran a couple of Jegs CRA like all-star races, and we ran that 56 on the right side.
It's not bad for a long race. If you do a 150 lapper, I heard they're awesome. We were running 100 lappers with the Carolina Pro Late Series last season, sometimes 75, and we had to do a 2 scuff and then 2 noobs. Mm-hmm. So it was tough getting stagger and stuff like that, but most of the guys, we figured it out, and they would impound 2 tires after every race, so we were trying to pick the ones that, you didn't burn off the car and stuff.
Try to figure out which ones fell out of a race early.
Exactly, yeah. No, it's interesting. I've learned a lot about tires just through the late model stuff, just because, you got to be on your game with tires, or you're going to look
Those
silly.
Those tires are so finicky.
Yeah. It's
not like a Goodyear where they're all the same size.
Exactly.
Like a radial tire, like you have a NASCAR, they're pretty much all the same size. If you air a Hoosier up wrong, it's gonna be like you'll have 3 inches of stagger when you need an inch and a half.
Depending on what rear end you go on, it gets interesting real quick.
Yeah.
Nothing a little tire dope can't handle though.
Yep. But you can get caught. You can get caught, man. You can get caught. Ricky Brooks will get you. Even though I guess
Ricky Brooks, man. We raced the Bull Ring in Vegas, and that guy, we were like, dude, there was heavy hitters there, and we were like, dude, we qualified like 20th, and they like pre-race tech was post-race tech. Mm-hmm. They were like, pull your car, freaking want to check all this, all like it was. Yeah. It's for a tour race, but I'm like,
it's like Derby. I mean, if you go to Snowball Derby, you don't do anything on the racetrack. You go through tech, and that's like the biggest race there is getting in the tech line before everybody else.
Yeah. That place is notoriously straight tech.
But the one thing, Ricky Brooks, you can't say, it's to everyone. It don't matter who you are. Yep. It don't matter.
I mean, Nasty lost the Snowball Derby because of what? Titanium
brake components.
Not even.
And he was sponsored by Brembo.
Right. Yeah. Like not even
That's
like
tough.
The full brake setup. It was like a tiny.
It was the caps that, like, if you ever look at like even like the Cup car brake calipers, they have them. Cup Xfinity truck. There's little caps that go on the end just to dissipate the heat out of the caliper because they're titanium and they have holes in them.
Right. I don't know what I would do if I won the Snowball and got disqualified for a cap.
For that. Yeah,
that
would suck. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I feel like I've never even
just
gotten
the
close.
Money to make that race.
Yeah,
is insane.
I've been good at the flake before, but never in the actual Derby.
We're talking about taking a car down to the Snowflake, a pro. Because the car store rules are pretty in line with all those.
Supposed to be like the same.
Yeah, so it'd be really easy to get to. We're having trouble. We have a guy who hangs bodies quite interesting on late models. I mean, he gets every ounce of aero out of these.
Oh yeah.
And they don't like the templates. Don't like them very much.
Yeah.
Twisted Sister cars.
That's one thing. Up here, dude, they don't do templates really. Like in North Carolina, I feel like templates aren't that big. Whereas
you'll see some skewed up race cars.
If you go to Florida, dude, like. They fit the templates. Like that is like I remember when I first went down there, my crew chief, he'd been down there racing a little bit too. And he's like, look, we're not gonna go down here and be struggling to get through tech because of templates.
Yeah,
he's like
missing practice.
And he's like, if you're a quarter inch off on this template right here, they're gonna make you go and fix it. So that was a big thing.
And there's not a lot of stuff you could do with the track. I mean, you have to build mounts and stuff. You want to push, fenders out and stuff. It's not like Cup car, full body metal car. You could bang on some stuff and get it to. No, it was interesting. We took our Prolate through the car store tech, and they gave us a deal because we were, a little baby crate with all these supers, but we have some work to do for sure on that body.
You know about that, huh, Matt? You been late model racing?
Big Wisconsin late model racer.
Dude, I can't believe you didn't go to more late model. Like, Wisconsin's massive super late model.
Right.
There's a big beef between North Carolina late model drivers and Wisconsin late drivers.
Really?
Yeah, everybody's saying the Wisconsin drivers are better.
I mean,
there's a lot of them.
You look at the pedigree of it. Like, we had Kenseth, we have the Sodders, we have,
we've talked about this.
Dick Trickle, you got... with ASA and stuff, you had Rusty Wallace, Kenny Wallace come through. You had Mark Martin on the tour. I mean, heavy hitters.
But at the same time, if you look at like Florida, North Carolina, you have me, you have Chase Elliott, you have Ryan Blaney.
What about everybody from California?
Bubba,
There's
Stephen
I mean,
Nasse.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Then you have even the California guys like Kevin Harvick,
Gordon.
Yeah, all
I think
those.
Ernie Irvin.
There's like 3 hubs, right? Yep. There's the Southeast, there's the Midwest,
and then the West Coast.
West Coast.
Yep.
There's not much. I mean,
there's some guys coming out of the Northeast that are pretty solid.
I mean, but like, you know, there's going to be an anomaly every now and then. But
it's like guys from Texas. Like there's really not that many guys from Texas. It's like me and Busher, and that's
David
it.
Starr.
David Starr.
Whataburger.
The old Texas rattlesnake.
Yeah. Like it's like, yeah. I mean, Texas racing, I feel like, isn't even that big. Not asphalt. Like asphalt for sure, no. Dirt racing, yes. There's like one asphalt track in all of Texas, and the state is massive.
Yeah. So I mean, when I grew up on the dirt side because my grandparents, both of them worked on a IMCA modified.
All right.
My grandma was fucking
in the blood.
Throwing tires and shit.
That's sick.
My mom actually drove. You can't. Not a lot of people could say that. My mom won 4 powder puff races in like the 80s.
That's some pedigree right there.
Let's go.
But
mom was putting on.
For how good the asphalt scene is in Wisconsin, the dirt scene is just as big.
Really? Because I didn't know it was that big up there. Like I know, like around like South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, like it's massive. I just didn't know if it bled into Wisconsin too.
It does. Like it's a lot of IMCA stuff.
Yeah, IMCA's big up there.
So I mean, Benji Lacrosse from Green Bay, Wisconsin, just won a $150,000 stock car race. So
big payday.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty big, but I mean, you got the iconic asphalt racetracks like
Winchester.
Not in Wisconsin.
Wait. No,
Winchester's in Indiana.
No, I meant to say
Slinger,
sorry.
which is where the
another
SRX
high bank
series was. You got where Oktoberfest is. You got Lacrosse Speedway.
Wisconsin International.
WIR is iconic in the north. In Wisconsin.
Dude, that place is so sick. I want to race there so bad.
Hey, any Wisconsinites with even like a
the Dixieland 250, I will come and run it.
Bam.
Next week,
maybe
or whenever it is.
Maybe we'll take your car.
No, we need to put Bailey back in a legend. We have a badass legend.
I want to run some road course stuff in a legend car. That stuff, like at Atlanta Motorsports Park, that looks fun.
Let's do it.
As hell.
I'll crew it.
I'd have to race with like Miatas and stuff though. That's the class they
that
race
gets
in.
sketchy. They do that snowing too, and the Miatas are.
Never
like, trust a Miata.
They're big. like,
compared to a legend, it's weird to say, but yeah.
Like I feel like it'd be like racing a school bus, like when you're in a regular car.
Now, did you have spotters back when you ran?
No.
Okay, so nowadays they have spotters.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a spotter gig at the summer shootout. I haven't really come through on it.
Big spotter.
Try to mentor some of these young kids racing.
No, you're searching for a paycheck.
Tell them not to make the same mistakes.
That's where the money is. It's insane. Like legend racing used to be affordable, and now it's getting to like
you might as well race a late model.
Exactly.
I mean, my dream was to own a 600, and a guy that I know through a guy's just like, yeah, let's just buy 2 of them, just whatever.
Oh yeah.
Put one with the wing on it, one without.
That's just dumb because you can run either one with or without the wing.
Just buy a wing.
Yeah, but now we can take his backup car.
That's a good idea. You should work that out.
I'm trying.
Hey, backup cars are awesome. I love backup cars. I actually got to start at Hickory on a backup car, and it was so last minute we forgot to set the bar for qualifying, and it felt good. 1 and 2, entered 3 pretty hot, and the thing came around like Tokyo Drift. And luckily, I was a big drift guy out of high school. I had a 240 SX and 350. Yeah, it was fun. Waste of tires, but luckily I had some experience in driving a car sideways because I crossed the start and finish line driving out of the passenger window. And I saw my brother's face. He was car owner at the time, and he pretty much white-faced, mouth open. And let's just say we never forgot to set the bar for the backup car after that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Hickory, man. Place is awesome, though. I mean, some history, but it is beat up.
It is now up on iRacing.
Yes.
I haven't bought it yet.
It's tough.
I saw this, dude, there was this tweet that was hilarious. Like, someone did, like, the free, like, roam camera, and they went to, like, I don't know, near turn 1 in the pits, and it's like, POV. your son's testing a late model, and the guy whose car it is telling you that he's 0.3 faster than the pole the last time they were here, and all it costs is $8,000 to go race it.
Pretty much. It's we had a spectacular wreck there. I had the old timer come up to me. We ran a pro late race there last year, and our driver decided not to listen to the spotter and dive through the wreck into one and climb the wall. I'm at the entrance of pit road in
Diving
4.
through the wreck just never works.
Especially short track racing.
Usually maybe picking your way through, but diving through the wreck just never works.
Yeah, he saw a hole, and that hole filled up really quick. And I saw the top of the car, the roof numbers from the entrance of pit road
Not
out of
ideal.
4.
You don't want to see that.
And the old timer that runs the wrecker there, he goes, that's the biggest wreck I've seen here in 20 years. Well, thanks. That's my car.
Yeah, we just got to go fix that now. So,
dude, he hit so hard that bent the steering wheel, bent the MPI steering wheel.
yeah, let's go.
You know it was a good hit.
I knew a guy,
grip.
Kyle Ciarzati, when they ran ASA late model series. It was like the pro late models pretty much. They ran with Rockingham, and they used to have the jack bolts. I guess they still do on some cars, jack bolts for the coilovers. And it was right when they started doing it, and it was like the smaller version. It broke. Dude, there's some pictures somewhere. I've seen him. He like climbed the fence and was like literally on the catch fence, like 4 tires on the catch fence, and came back down. My crew chief used to crew chief for him, and like when I ran late models, and he said that the gauges were bent. He's like, he couldn't even use the gauges anymore. Like all the needles were bent, like they were stuck. He's like, everything on that car was junk. There was no fixing anything.
Yeah, that was how ours was. It actually almost put a hole in the pan from one of the lower control arms.
Nice.
So that was a fun one.
That's a lot of damage.
Actually, that car is running this year. Constantino rebuilt it. It was a really good car, Hampke car. But that car's back in service after a front and rear clip on that car. It's beautiful now.
I love going to like Hampke's Twitter and just looking at the brand new cars they build. I'm like, oh
yeah.
Dude, if I could only just spend $120,000 on a super late model right now, I totally would.
So the car I'm running is I think 2013 or 2014 Hampke, and it's at Clattenburg getting all the updates. They like box in all the rear mounts for the A-arms and stuff and all that, and there actually is rules coming out where you can pan a little bit more of the underside.
Oh, nice.
So like right under the transmission, there's a couple pans we could put in there. So we're doing some work. It's a little older chassis, but we've gotten those chassis to really work for us. So.
I used to run a 1996 Grand American race car built by Augie and Frankie Grill.
Still racing.
Formerly known as Neil Bonnet Race Cars, in which my former car owner, Mike Harmon, used to work for back in the day, which is kind of
history.
Damn.
There's a little history lesson
There's
for
like
you.
His signature on the bottom
Mike
of the
told
chassis.
me, so Augie Grill, pretty big short track racer. Mike told me, he was like, there's one, I can remember seeing Augie riding around the shop on a creeper when he was about 5 years old. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Oh, man.
So what happens if your pseudo teammate wrecks your car?
I pull a couple all-nighters, and we have a backup chassis. So we have a Hampke. Pretty much, we got 4 or 5 cars now, and they're all Hampkes within 300-400 chassis numbers of each other. We keep one pretty much ready to go.
Keep it on them.
Yeah,
You
you got to
with thing on me.
with the
Keep that
development
thing on
deal.
me.
You got to have a backup car because I mean these kids pay. Well, dads pay good money
Yeah.
to
Kids
race, and
selling
you
a lot
can't
of lemonade at the lemonade stand to run that damn car.
exactly. And you can't tell them, hey, you wrecked the car. We're not going to be ready in 2 weeks.
Race
so.
teams should have that for when they have those development teams, like how a soccer team, they sell magazines or whatever.
Door to door.
Be like, look.
Chocolate bars.
Yeah, like I'm selling chocolate so I can afford a set of tires this weekend at Hickory. Can you help me out? I only need to sell 300 more chocolate
300
bars.
more boxes.
You should try that for the Xfinity series.
I should.
Hey,
That can blow
if
up.
anybody wants to buy,
What kind of chocolate? should I sell?
15,000 chocolate
It's
bars.
that same box of chocolate. I remember I used to buy them all the time in high school because
we did pizzas.
Some team. I was on a soccer team and we sold tamales.
Hey, that's big in California too. They're selling tamales.
Really?
we
I
sold,
I thought we were the only ones.
We sold pizzas. Like
Pizza.
That's a very
Surprised
Wisconsin
you didn't
thing.
sell cheese, eh?
They're selling beer at 12 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have made a lot.
What's
more.
the beer you guys like out there? The cow one?
Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cow.
Really? I thought it was.
No.
I figured it would have been like PBR or like.
That's your favorite beer.
No, you want to hear something weird?
Is two PBRs made in Milwaukee, isn't it?
Not anymore.
What?
Made in China.
So we have, like, in Wisconsin, there's tons of iconic brands, right? There's Miller,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's Best, PBR, Blatt.
I also talk about Milwaukee Tools, but yeah, whatever.
That'd be the coolest sponsorship ever.
You want to know
Tools
what the
would be
majority
sick.
of people drink up there? Busch Latte, which comes from Missouri.
Is that because that guy who has all the videos now? Oh, you betcha.
No, he's from North Dakota.
Really?
North
Yeah,
Dakota.
he's
No, the big guy. Where he's always
with
like
the
Busch
beard?
Latte.
With the beard.
I thought he was from Wisconsin.
No, he's from North Dakota.
The same
What a
thing.
fraud.
It's like right next to each other, right?
Frozen tundra.
I don't really know my
That's
geography.
like 8 hours away. You got to drive through all of Minnesota to get to North Dakota.
There's that one state up there. I forget that it's
Minnesota.
there. Minnesota.
We dunk on Minnesota so often because their tagline is the land of 10,000 lakes. Wisconsin has like 12,000 lakes.
Yeah, way more.
That's a lot more.
I have
lakes.
way more lakes than you,
Minnesota's
bro.
got there's that YouTube video. I don't know if y'all have seen them. The
Oh, how you talk like a Minnesota.
no, the all hockey hair team.
Yes, those were good.
He's like, it's the land of 10,000 locks is what I call it. That's an arugula because that's some spicy salad.
The internet's a crazy place.
Oh yeah, that dude like went anonymous for years, and he finally like made a documentary. He's a normal looking dude. I'm pretty sure he's bald, if I wasn't mistaken. But yeah, Dan, this is a long episode, huh?
Yeah, we've gone. We normally try to keep it around an hour, and we're
People are gonna be bored.
No, not.
Yeah.
We've been rolling. There hadn't even been like not one awkward silence. So,
we came into this not having anything to talk about.
I think that's the
Awesome.
best way to do it. We'll come in with our special guest,
Maybe
Christopher, next week.
Ooh,
That's it.
it's kind of a hint. I don't know a lot of people.
It is. It's Busher.
Real people.
No, I could.
Real people.
I should text him and ask him to come on too.
But shout out to my brother, the one international listener that we have.
Yes,
if
sir.
if you've made it this far,
We'll
you'll
start
get your
getting.
shout out.
We'll get it translated to Taiwanese language.
He's in Taiwan.
Yeah, he's been there for like 5 years.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
He sent me a message. He goes, "I've listened to every single podcast that you've
What's
done."
he doing in Taiwan?
He's a teacher.
Oh,
English teacher.
That'd be so
I think
easy.
like a.
Do you have a degree in teaching? No, but I've been speaking English my
But I can
whole life.
speak
So
I'm kind of a pro. at
yeah.
it.
Kind of a big deal.
No, he teaches history and stuff like that.
So when he teaches history, is it like world history?
World history.
Okay. I was gonna say because you'd be like teaching
Is
American
he
history.
familiar
in
with my
Taiwan.
book, The People's History of the United States? That's
I'll-
where all the real history is.
You know, if he sees this, he can comment.
As soon as I finish that one, I'm buying another book. I've already got it wrote down in my notes. The 48 Levels of Power. Let me know in the comments if that's a good book or not.
I don't think a lot of our listeners are book readers.
What are you trying to say, bro?
That's disrespectful.
What are you trying to say, bro?
I'm just saying more people are moving.
Just because
to-
you don't read
I
books,
think
doesn't
the
I
last-
mean
actually
other-
ordered a book and it's coming tomorrow.
What book
I
you
think
get?
the last book I read was To Kill a Mockingbird in high school.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't have too many books. I put that one book on my coffee table in case, like, I bring a girl over or something. It looks like I'm
a big book guy.
somewhat distinguished.
I
It's
was
right
gonna-
next to my 2 snowboarding magazines, so I don't know how much it helps.
In the Xbox controller.
Yeah, and the Xbox controller.
And you're fake succulent.
Yeah, well, it's better than no succulent, so suck on that.
Wow.
And
Ladies
with-
love the succulents.
And with that, I think we're getting the hell out of here because this has
With
been
that
going on for
bombshell.
way too long. Which one is it?
This one.
Real man of Jesus.